Good evening and welcome back to the program. So very glad you are joining us, and we're always very glad to have with you our monthly Green Leaf segment. Welcome back to the program, Mr. Omar Picante. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Whiteside. Thank you for having me back again.
Always glad to have you. And you've got a special guest here with us. Why don't you go ahead and introduce Mr. Gary for us?
Yes, I'm very proud to introduce a special guest, a friend of ours, of our industry, who helped us tremendously in furthering the medical marijuana industry in Louisiana. Retired infantry officer with the United States Marine Corps, Mr. Gary Hess, who's also the executive director of Veteran Alliance for Holistic Alternatives. So, Mr. Hess, I thought it would be very important for the viewing audience to get to see and be able to hear from someone with a unique perspective about medical cannabis.
I appreciate it. Mr. Gary, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And listen, if a picture paints 1,000 words, then a video paints a whole lot more. But a testimonial tells us a whole lot more than that. And so we appreciate you sharing with us this testimonial. We're going to go ahead and roll that, and then we're going to ask you some questions thereafter.
Yes, sir.
Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right, very good. Guys, let's roll that testimonial, please.
My name is Gary P. Hess. I'm 41 years old. I'm a retired Marine Corps infantry officer, and I'm currently in the process of enrolling in Louisiana's therapeutic marijuana program and in support of House Bill 358. I'm a Louisiana native, born and raised in Belle Chasse, Louisiana. I was a distinguished graduate of Holy Cross High School in New Orleans. I received my undergraduate degree in sociology at Wartburg College while competing in 4 years of NCAA collegiate baseball. I served in the Marine Corps from February of 1998 to August of 2008, both enlisted and as an officer. I was selected as and served as an infantry officer from 2004 to 2008 during the heaviest levels of fighting in Iraq. As an infantry officer, I held the following billets. I was a mobile assault platoon commander. I was an infantry line platoon commander that went house to house. I was a scout sniper employment officer. And then I finished up as the assistant operation officer for Special Operations Training Group in North Carolina. I was later recruited by the CIA Special Operations Group and eventually walked away from all of it. The war had taken its toll. I'd like to share a few personal experiences as examples of what our men and women experienced in combat. Now, this is what I experienced, but these experiences were common throughout the country. March 21st in 2005, while conducting route security for convoy escorts, my lead vehicle was hit with a suicide vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, decapitating my gunner and critically wounding 2 others inside of the vehicle. 2 of the 3 Marines in that vehicle that survived have since taken their own lives. After Kevin was killed, I spent the next 6 months on the Syrian border controlling the port of entry between Iraq and Syria. In July 2005, conducting what is known as a relief in place, which is where there is a unit inside the city who has been there for their extended period of time, and we were going to relieve them. So a relief in place is a very methodical process, and it's also a very vulnerable time. As the citation reads, in the town of Husayba, Iraq, 2nd Lieutenant Hess was moving to a battle position to conduct a relief in place when heavy enemy fire erupted on the position. Lieutenant Hess immediately led his Marines through open terrain and a hail of enemy fire towards the platoon in need. Lieutenant Hess deployed his Marines, exposing himself to enemy fire time and time again to personally emplace his men. 2nd Lieutenant Hess moved from position to mass his own fires and spearheaded an overwhelming counterattack against the enemy force. The swift destruction of the enemy saved Marines under siege and facilitated the timely evacuation of wounded Marines. In less than 6 months on the Syrian border, we were involved in 308 engagements. In less than 180 days, it took its toll. The second deployment was much the same. During the second deployment of December 26, 2006, I was operating with a 4-man unit away from any direct support. Once again, we were targeted with a complex attack, starting with mortars followed by rockets and machine gun fire. They drove a suicide, full-size triaxle dump truck loaded with C4 into the front of our building. To this day, I hear the words from Staff Sergeant Manton as clear as day. killed Josh, sir. They killed Josh. He didn't have to say a word. I saw Josh's body fragments all over him. I walked to the top of the building where Josh's body was lying. He was laying in a puddle of expended breath, thwarting the enemy attack. In 2008, I was honorably discharged with service-connected disabilities consisting of traumatic brain injury, chronic pain in shoulders, spine, and ankles, severe hearing loss, insomnia, and post-traumatic stress disorder, to name a few. As I transitioned home, I did not anticipate the problems that I would soon encounter and worsen considerably over time. Emotional numbing, compulsive thoughts, hypervigilance, the startle factor, hyperarousal. When there's so much anger and so much stimulation, your body just shuts off and avoids everything. I distanced myself from anyone and everyone, including immediate family members and siblings. I persistently re-experienced the trauma through thoughts, dreams, images, illusions, flashbacks, sounds, smells, and many other forms. What I saw, I couldn't unsee. What I heard, I can't unhear. What I smelled, you can't unsmell it. And what you feel, you can't unfeel it. Within a few short years, I was unable to regulate and control my own emotions. Anger, sadness, frustration, anxiety, insomnia, depression, guilt, and compulsive thoughts dominated my daily activities. They consumed me. The simple acts of waking up and going to bed became very difficult tasks. I reached out to the VA in an effort to find a solution. From 2009 to 2017. I was prescribed the infamous combat cocktail consisting of Adderall to keep me focused and alert during the day, Ambien to put me to sleep in the evenings, along with Prozac, Zoloft, and many other painkillers over time. To give you a glimpse of how my state of health degraded, between 2012 and 2014, I checked myself into the hospital 3 different times, thinking I was having a heart attack. Pain in my chest, my arms, elevated pulse, shortness of breath. When I checked into the hospital for the 3rd time, my blood pressure was 178 over 133. I was 32 years old. Couldn't understand why this was happening to me. By 2015, I was mentally broken. My wife was leaving me. My business was in shambles. Mental and physical health was degrading, and I could not figure it out, nor could I stop it. I was inadequate. I was a failure. This behavioral pattern became unbearable, it became unbreakable, and prevented me from taking proactive steps to recovery. Starting in 2016, I was introduced to various forms of medicinal marijuana consumed through oils and edibles. There was a noticeable difference over time, but I felt that I had no control over the dosage or its effects. The delayed responses and uncertainty of edibles and oils lacked the immediate delivery needed for PTSD symptoms. I want to paint a picture. As that full-size triaxle dump truck, the same ones you see driving down the interstate every day through Baton Rouge, drives into the front of my building, that image is ingrained. It will never go away. So as I'm driving with my 3-year-old son and I pull up next to a triaxle dump truck, whether I like it or not, I have some type of response. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. A delayed response and the self-medication is not the answer. It does not help. In 2017, I had the opportunity to visit a therapeutic alternative pharmacy and gained access to lab-tested pharmaceutical-grade marijuana with a metered, immediate delivery mechanism as an inhalant. Within minutes of experiencing powerful triggers, the rapid delivery reduced and rid me of the anger within minutes. Within minutes, the anger was out of the equation. The anger subsided, and my mind was no longer forward. I was living, I was thinking, I was breathing in the present, in the now, the right now. That is something I had not done in a decade. The anger did not consume me. I did not avoid. For the first time in over a decade, I confronted with logic, not avoidance, and really began understanding my triggers. On that day, my life changed for the better. Medicinal marijuana, delivered immediately, removed anger from the equation. It empowered me. It gave me much needed hope. It gave my wife hope. It gave Lincoln, our new son, hope. By removing anger from the equation, I was able to start engaging in necessary conversations to begin a proactive recovery process. It reduced the muscle tension in my body. It helped ease the pain immediately. It allowed for clarity and focus. It reduced my compulsive thoughts. Within 3 months, I was off all of the medication prescribed by the VA. To this day, I use medicinal marijuana with an immediate delivery mechanism on a daily basis. I'm asking for you to give me the right to do this legally in my own state, especially in front of my wife and my soon-to-be 2 sons. Given its federally prohibited status, veterans are still instead steered toward antidepressants and antipsychotic medications that have had very little success in treating severe PTSD symptoms. 22 veterans a day are taking their lives. 22. Those are my men. By this time next year, another 8,030 veterans will have committed suicide. To date, I've lost more Marines to suicide than I have in combat. I am here today only because of this woman sitting on the left side of the table in medicinal marijuana. My struggle is current, it is real, and it is daily. Our veterans, my Marines, continue to kill themselves at alarming rates because we are denying them access to therapeutic alternatives that work and have proven to work time and time again. Ladies and gentlemen, in my entire life, I never thought I would say this, but you're looking at the new face of marijuana.
And so just in summation, just for me, just listening to your story and taking massive notes, once there was a possibility for an increase in functioning, there was the opportunity for hope, which led to recovery.
Absolutely.
Did I get that right?
Absolutely.
And then one of the other things that you said really makes a big difference to me, therapeutic alternatives that work.
Yeah.
And so you basically spent some 10 years or so not being able to get the kind of help that you needed, and certainly not being able to do that legally until some things started to change. And so thank you for being the face of change by being you and your story. And I guess the first and most important thing is thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
And what a tremendous and traumatic service event that was, or series of events.
Yeah.
And so I applaud your candidness about that and your ability to come and articulate that to a group of people. It's hard to do, by the way.
Yeah, it was not easy. It was not easy, and that's a story in itself, just getting there and showing up.
Yeah, but the people that helped you get there is really, really important.
Absolutely.
So thank you so very much. Again, that tells way more than what you and I could sit and talk about.